Hey guys, a couple weeks ago we did a video about what we think is a prototype of the Phantom 5. Now we got a few views and we got several comments. Comments were about one of two things, at least some critical comments. One of them was that the table presented was incorrect. Those were valid criticisms. So made a little bit mistake in that table with the crop factor. I've updated that and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But the main thing I want to talk about is the criticism that we're ignoring the fact that DJI came out with an official statement saying that the leaked images were indeed a Phantom 4 special build that DJI did for an enterprise client. Now, everybody just kind of had the opposite reaction we did. We thought that didn't really make a lot of sense. Everyone else kind of just said, okay, yeah, enterprise client, that makes a lot of sense. For us, we kind of felt like DJI was pulling a bit of a Jedi mind trick, and it seemed to have worked. Most people just took it as gospel. You do not need a logical story. These are not the Phantom 5 images you're looking for. And everybody said, okay, it's not a Phantom 5. Personally, we don't think it makes a lot of sense. Developing a drone like that costs big bucks. We think upwards of $1 million. Now, who's going to spend $1 million on a drone? We're going to get into that a little bit here after this brief interruption. Welcome back. So first up, I want to talk about this table real quick. As I mentioned before, I had incorrectly calculated a 1.7 crop factor in my original table. The correct answer is 2.7, 2.73 to be exact, and that's how you make the transition or the calculation between equivalent focal length, that's 35 millimeter full frame sensor equivalent focal length, to a 1 inch, or what they call a 1 inch sensor, which is on the Phantom 4. So we're going to go ahead and keep assuming that it's going to be a 1 inch sensor on this Phantom 5, and therefore the values you see in this table are now correct with the correct crop factor of 2.73. Now with that, it's most likely that these are equivalent focal lengths. All we saw was a 50 millimeter lens in the images. That's going to be a 2x magnification from the typical 24 millimeter lenses that we see equivalent focal length on the Phantom 4 Pro. What does that mean? We got a narrow field of view, roughly half, roughly 2x magnification. We'd like to see even a little bit more. Now on the Z3 lens on the Inspire 1, we saw as much as 7x magnification possible. That was 3.5x optical and 2x digital zoom, and they actually recommended that you not use it for video, saying it could be a bit shaky. When you crop things that much, you notice vibration quite a bit more. So are they going to do a 7x magnification? Probably not. We'd love to see a nice stable 5x. That'd be really cool. Could be useful for inspections, things like that. So remains to be seen. If it is an actual 50 millimeter lens, not equivalent, but actual focal length, that would be a 5x magnification factor. But moving on from the table, let's talk about the primary criticism, which is that we're reporting fake news and this is outdated stuff. DJI had an official statement saying that the Phantom 4 that we saw was actually just a custom drone for an enterprise client. Now what we're wondering is, what enterprise client is going to spend that kind of money? Now where are we coming up with $1 million number? Well, that was my initial reaction. This looks like at least $1 million development project. So I have an engineering background, work in engineering. I also spoke with somebody who owns a Mavic, and he's a seasoned professional in project management in an engineering role. He had the same initial reaction. He said this is millions of dollars. Jack's initial reaction was hundreds of thousands. So let us know what you think, but regardless, it's a lot of money for a Phantom 4. Who really needs a 2x magnification factor on their Phantom 4? Why not just go buy an Inspire? It is pricier than a Phantom, but it's not $1,000,000. So let's get into that. We're thinking, who could this be? Now, if you're a military customer, you got that kind of money. Maybe you need the magnification to get some bigger standoff with your drone, be able to see things further away. We do know that Phantom-like drones can be popular with militaries. However, are you going to paint it silver? I don't think so. Probably going to be gray, maybe camouflage, maybe blue, who knows. But it's not going to be silver. It's not going to look cool. If it's a prototype, if it's a one-off, are we going to see this brand new gimbal too, which looks highly polished? It's got the powder coat or whatever finish they put on there. Everything looks super tight. Why the updated motors? So what this really is, it's a prototype platform. Yeah, it's not the Phantom 5. Okay, we get it. Sure, we're not going to see the Phantom 5 next week. Well, that'd be nice if we did though. But certainly these probably aren't the leaked images, the actual Phantom 5, but it certainly is a development platform for the Phantom 5. Is it DJI lying? I don't think so. Who is the enterprise client? It's probably these guys. It's probably Sony. If they're going to have interchangeable lenses on the Phantom 5, which we believe they do, they need to do something different to refresh this product line. And it would be very nice to be able to get really nice interchangeable different focal length lenses on your Phantom. It's probably Sony, right? They're going to make the sensor, and they're probably developing a new standard for 1-inch sensor interchangeable lenses, right? We've got the Micro Four Thirds we see on the Inspire series, ASPC, which is what this guy is. We've got full frame. We don't have a 1-inch standard yet, so they're probably working with an enterprise client like Sony to develop that new standard. Now, my buddy I mentioned before, he actually was the first one to give me that idea. I also want to give a shout out to our viewer, Chris Totten, who also suggested the same thing in a comment in our original video. If you want to see that one, go check it out. However, the table is out of date. Now, I want to mention one more time, like we did in that video, this camera here has 10 electronic pins going between the lens. Now, this cheap kind of junky kit lens that it comes with, I left this on here for one reason. The reason is it has the most need for electronic signals going to the lens of any of the lenses I have. It has this electronic focus ring. It has electronic powered zoom. It has lenses inside, or a lens group, that moves in the Y direction and the X direction for optical image stabilization. And for that, it almost certainly needs a feedback system to know exactly where those lenses are at all time to help get rid of camera shake. In addition to those, it has an electronic aperture that I can adjust here, just like we expect the Phantom 5 to. But certainly the 12 pins that we see in the Phantom 5 leaked images, we call the Phantom 5 anyway, are not required just for an aperture and just for focus. We see them doing more. We don't know if there's going to be a zoom lens in the initial offering. We hope so, but they're certainly leaving the pins there. They're leaving it there open in the standard that they're developing, probably with Sony, for that zoom lens capability. Obviously, you're going to do that. It only makes sense if you're developing a new standard. As Cliff suggests, probably going to be co-owned, largely financed by DJI though. So to wrap it up here, we'd love to hear what you think. Of course, as always, constructive comments most appreciated. If you have ideas about how much it costs to develop the Phantom 5 prototype that we saw there, or who may be this enterprise client other than Sony, please let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Check us out for the leaked images and more information on halfchrome.com. We'll see you next time.